Long live the king.
Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back again. So in today's video, I'm going to explain why Kong can never become king against Godzilla. Okay, so first of all, we need to go all the way back to King Kong vs. Godzilla in 1962. As much as I enjoyed that movie, it was clearly targeted for kids. It did have its flaws with a very controversial ending. The biggest problem about this movie is that even though Toho confirmed that Kong won, the movie itself makes it look like it was more of a tie. And so because of the way that the movie ended, a lot of fans up to this day still determine who's the clear winner in that movie. So I'm going to explain to you guys why Godzilla should have won in that fight and why Kong could never become king. In their very first encounter, Godzilla clearly has the upper hand because of his atomic breath. Kong can't do nothing but just throw rocks, clearly showing signs that Kong is going up against a flamethrower. And when Godzilla decides to use the atomic breath on Kong, you see how Kong looks all scared, gets all clueless, and then walks away like a little bitch at the end of the round. That's your king? Please. But I'm not done yet. In their second encounter, Kong does make Godzilla fall down a hill, but Kong doesn't want to fight Godzilla for some reason. He decides to run away and play hide and go seek with Godzilla. And even when they do decide to fight, Kong is seen just trying to grab Godzilla's tail, but fails. Then as the fight starts to get more intense a little bit, Kong tries to throw a rock, but throws himself instead. He gave himself a concussion, which made Godzilla have the upper hand. Eventually, Kong does get up at one point, but then Godzilla does his magical kick that makes Kong fly all the way back, rolling down a hill, and he's done for at this point. Kong lost at this point because 1, Godzilla beats him with his tail, 2, tries to bury him, and 3, leaves him in flames. And at this point, not only should the movie have ended, but Godzilla is the victor in this movie. The plot armor Lightning decided to resurrect Kong and fight Godzilla once more. Kong would have stayed dead if that plot armor Lightning did not come into play. So in their final encounter, you do see how Kong has the upper hand with his lightning powers. Then they keep fighting towards the end of the movie, and at one point they do both fall off the cliff. Godzilla and Kong are still fighting while they fall off the cliff and they both fall in the water. Kong resurfaces from the water, no signs of Godzilla, and then suddenly, oh well, there's no Godzilla, well, yeah, Kong's the winner, fuck it. And I'm like, what? That's a bullshitty ass ending. We do know for a fact that Godzilla did not die. And then on top of that, there's just no exact possibility as to what happened to Godzilla once Kong resurfaced. We don't know if he retreated, just decided to take a nap. We don't know. And this is exactly why people still debate up to this day, because this movie did not have a clear, definite winner. Now, let's move on to Legendary Godzilla and Kong in the Monsterverse series. In October 2015, Legendary made an announcement saying that Godzilla and Kong are going to be in the same shared universe, causing them to eventually fight. Also, keep in mind that Godzilla vs. Kong is not a remake of King Kong vs. Godzilla. It's just a rematch. Keep in mind that Legendary Kong and Toho Kong are two different Kongs. Starting off on Kong Skull Island, Kong is just a teenager in this movie before he fights Godzilla later on in 2021. The reason why Kong can never become king against Godzilla is because he can't handle helicopter blades. He cries touching his boo-boo. He almost died from fire, but instead passed out. And he almost lost twice in the movie. The first time was bullshit because if the humans were not there while Kong and the Skullcrawler were fighting, the Skullcrawler would not be distracted chasing the humans. The Skullcrawler was just dumb enough to leave his rival enemy hanging for just a bunch of humans. The second time was when Kong was stuck in chains. The Skullcrawler was about to take a bite off of Kong's face. And that would have happened if the humans did not shoot at the Skullcrawler. But since they did, that's the only reason why Kong won. If the humans were not in the way, Kong would have lost easily. And you have the audacity to root for a giant ape that lives on a tiny ass island? Well, let me tell you about Legendary Godzilla. Legendary Godzilla got nuked right in the face and still survived. Legendary Godzilla's only sensitive area is his gills. Other than that, bullets, missiles, nukes, they don't faze him. Even when Godzilla had an encounter with both of the Mutos, Godzilla killed them as a pre-workout. Godzilla killed them off like as if they were just two giant pests. This does cause Godzilla to be extremely exhausted and does pass out. And even when the nuclear warhead blows up as Godzilla's passed out, he wakes up the next following day from it, walks away from it, and just goes right back to the ocean like as if nothing happened. You guys think Kong can do that? I sure as hell don't think so. Now in Godzilla, King of the Monsters, Godzilla's first encounter with King Ghidorah is his arch nemesis from years ago. Godzilla defeated King Ghidorah years ago in that same location, so this first fight is actually their very first rematch. Ghidorah flies away because the military decides to interfere with their fight, causing Godzilla to be extremely pissed off. In their second encounter, Godzilla definitely had the upper hand with Ghidorah in the ocean, and Godzilla would have won that fight if the humans did not decide to interfere once more by dropping an oxygen destroyer right on the ocean. If the humans did not interfere with the fight once more, Godzilla would have easily defeated King Ghidorah right there in the ocean. This also does indicate that Godzilla did not need Mothra's sacrifice or to necessarily become Burning Godzilla towards the end of the movie. In their final fight, Godzilla still had the upper hand until Ghidorah decided to recharge using electricity. He also eventually does get dropped from the sky and still lives by moving. Then King Ghidorah decides to try and eat Godzilla in defeat, but once again, the humans try and interfere by trying to save Godzilla by using the Orca. But even without the Orca, Godzilla would have still had time to become Burning Godzilla. Godzilla does get the upper hand once more as Burning Godzilla, defeats Ghidorah by sparking his head up like a blunt, and takes the title as the new King of the Monsters. I don't know about y'all, but that sounds pretty godly to me. Kong will not take that title from Godzilla because Godzilla also has all these titans in check. Godzilla also runs the entire world, and Kong just runs like a little ass island. Kong's damage was really nothing compared to Godzilla. He just left Boston in ashes. Godzilla just defeated his arch nemesis. What is that compared to a giant ape? Moving on to Godzilla vs. Kong in 2021, the only things that we do know about Kong specifically is that he's a lot more older, has a full beard now, and is a lot more buffer. And as for Godzilla, all that we do know is that Godzilla's intelligence is just as similar as Kong's. He can also recognize when a titan is good or bad. And that's why I keep asking, what's a king to a god? So in conclusion, this is why I heavily believe that Kong will lose next year in Godzilla vs. Kong. And at the end of the day, it's still Team Godzilla. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed this video, please smash that like button, comment, subscribe, turn on that bell, and I will see you guys the next time. Peace.